Do you guys think that Donald Trump is good for the average American and low-income Americans?
Absolutely.
So once again,
10 million Americans losing access to bad, low-quality care.
So what are they going to be left with? And also, Medicaid actually isn't that bad in all scenarios. But my question to you is, what are they going to be left with? The answer to that question is nothing. You said that we need to fix and replace it. Donald Trump isn't replacing it with anything. Okay, he has been in office for 5 years at this point, and he's been contemplating his policies for office for over 10 years at this point. And this whole time, he's been saying that we need to repeal and replace Obamacare. We need to repeal and replace the ACA. Medicaid has all these problems, but guess what? The real problem is taking these services away from people that need them to live, leaving them with nothing and replacing them with nothing, okay? If you want to replace Medicaid with something better, be my goddamn guest. All right. So many low-income Americans can voice so many frustrations with the system. But guess what? That system still provides them with the only healthcare they have access to in order to fund their visits to the hospital, in order to fund their annual physicals, and in order to extend their lifespan by 5 to 15 years on average per low-income American. And what are they going to have if they don't have it? Nothing. But okay, folks, so all 5 of you on the panel with us right now support Trump as president. So let's go ahead and hop into things. Here's the first question for y'all. This is something that I talk about very frequently on the live, but I want to talk about it again today. Do you guys think that Donald Trump is good for the average American and low-income Americans?
Absolutely.
Okay, what about you, Rocket?
I think so.
Okay, what about...
I definitely think so.
Okay, what about you, Sean?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, all right. J-Mac said yes. What about you, J.O.D.?
I think we'll go for the clean sweep, yes.
Okay, what about you, Cody?
Yeah, royal flush.
All right, all 5 of you have affirmed that you think that Trump is good for low-income Americans. Here is the question. How can y'all possibly think that Trump is good for low-income Americans, considering the fact that under the big, beautiful bill, he gutted Medicaid by $900 billion, which, according to the CBO, who's ran by Republicans, is projected to increase Medicaid premiums by 75% for 55 million low-income Americans, while also kicking 10 million low-income Americans off of services completely, and also reducing funding for food stamps on the federal level by $156 billion, which, according to the CBO, again, is going to cut food stamp benefits from 3 million Americans in the next 10 years, on top of the fact that, according to the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, the big, beautiful bill as a whole is reducing the purchasing power for every American household making at or under $51,000 per year, disproportionately harming low-income American households by making the average price of energy go up by $500 per year for the average American household, which, of course, is more meaningful the less money you make. And on top of that, his tariffs are inevitably passed off to the end consumer once they're in the market, as they're factored into the cost of production and transportation of any given good, which will disproportionately affect low-income Americans since they spend a disproportionate amount of their income on the goods that they consume.
Okay, great job. I see your eyes looking over, and obviously this is your job. I'm working right now. I'm on my lunch break. I'm sure these other guys are also working men. We don't have data or sheets in front of us. So thanks for the info on the Medicaid and the numbers and the SNAP and all that. But I think we'll all agree, all 6 of us will agree that you can go outside and ask any single American and you'll say, are you happy with your current health care? Is any American, rich, middle class, poor? Nobody's happy with our healthcare system right now. So, when you just spit out Medicaid this, Medicaid that, like a lot of people are struggling with those expenses. SNAP benefits, I heard you on some previous
Let me
debates
respond to that first point.
that.
Let me respond to that first point.
Why?
Okay.
You just talked for like 5 minutes straight.
I know. I'll talk for less. We're just going to go point by point. So you just said, well, it's actually okay for Donald Trump to make healthcare even worse by making the premiums more expensive for low-income Americans and taking away from 10 million people. Here's an analogy. If I were to go ask the average American if they're happy with their car, what do you think they'd say?
Some would say yes, some would say no. I don't think it's
for those that would say no, maybe they have.
I don't think that's a great metaphor.
For the Americans that would say that they're not happy with their car, maybe their tire tread is a little bit like suboptimal. Maybe they have some issues with like an oil leak, so on and so forth. A check engine light on. Do you think that things would be better for them if I just took their car away from them?
All right, I'm not going to engage in your whataboutisms or what-if-isms.
It's not a whataboutism. It's applying your logic to a way that makes it seem necessary.
We pay a lot for healthcare, and we're unhealthy. So So like, I agree with all you're saying. Like we should pay less. The average American should pay less. Low income Americans shouldn't be struggling to afford healthcare,
So
but
then
we
why do you
pay the
support Trump,
most.
who's
We
making
pay the
more
most
expensive?
on average, and we're unhealthy, man. So we need to shake up the bottle. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say I know exactly the solution, but I know whatever's happening right now, you know what? I would be okay with doing the opposite of it because, like I said, like 1% of Americans are happy with our healthcare system right now. Less than 1%, I'd be willing to bet. So, yes, like, I don't care about Medicaid. I don't care about this or that or what he does to this because it already sucks.
Yeah, so you're just trying to justify tyranny by a description of pain. Here's my question for you. What specific issues is Donald Trump fixing inside of Medicaid by taking Medicaid away from 10 million low-income Americans?
Like I said, I do not know what he's fixing.
He's
I
not
don't know
fixing
how to
anything.
fix it.
Exactly my point. So don't try to sit here, JOD. Don't try to sit here and tell me that Donald Trump is making these systems proactively better, right, by taking these systems away from the people that need them the most.
Don't put words in my mouth.
He's not taking them away. He's cutting the funding down a little bit. He's limiting the funding. He's not taking them away fully. And Medicaid has loads of problems right now, and it's got to get fixed. He's trying to work on how to fix them before we dump all this money into Medicaid and we don't know if it's truly working or not.
Which is good for middle class and low income Americans.
And like free healthcare is a nice thing, but honestly, your taxes go way through the roof.
Here's my question for you, Sean. Here's my question for you, Sean. You just said that Donald Trump is working to fix the problems within Medicaid. What problems exist in Medicaid, and how is Donald Trump working to fix them? You're on the spot. Take it away.
Okay, awesome, cool. Yeah, no, so I have family that works in medicine, and I know Medicaid's a huge problem, and not a lot of doctors accept people who use Medicaid, so they get often pushed to lower quality doctors who don't really provide good enough care for people. So they're not getting the best support that they can. They're getting support by doctors who are working at places that only accept Medicaid. And there's a lot of fraud going on in Medicaid, and a lot of the spending is going to places that we don't know yet. So that's why he's cutting the funding down right now, just to determine what's going on with it and how good it's working truly and where it goes into. All the spending.
Okay, so you just said one of the problems. So you just said one of the problems with Medicaid is that not all doctors accept it. So yeah, it's like 90% of doctors are participating providers. However, I do wish more would be participating providers. And what exactly is Donald Trump doing to help fix this issue?
Well, he's cutting the funding down because I don't know where you got 90% of doctors.
How is defunding Medicaid by $900 billion over the course of the next 10 years helping to fix this issue?
Well, did you know that Medicaid has got funded $300 million more since 2019? So he's just cutting the funding down. It's already at $900 billion.
Okay, well,
so it's already went up $300 billion since 2019.
Well,
so I don't understand what your point is.
We also have we have more low-income Americans since 2019 because of the pandemic and population growth. Should we not increase the funding to Medicaid to account for that too? Yeah, exactly. So now it makes sense. And by the way, right, he's not cutting it by $300 million. He's cutting it by $900 billion over the course of the next 10 years to fund the greatest redistribution of wealth from low-income Americans to high-income Americans per the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities. And then once again, back to you, Sean. I asked you a question. What is Donald Trump doing to fix this issue of the fact that most providers not most, but some providers do not accept Medicaid? And then your response to that was to say, well, he's cutting Medicaid. So once again, I'll ask you the question. How is Donald Trump cutting Medicaid by $900 billion over the course of the next 10 years, helping to fix the issue that not all medical providers in this country accept it as a valid form of payment?
I mean, you could say he's cutting it over the next 10 years, but you know when he gets out of office, if a Democrat comes in, they're going to put the funding right back. So truthfully, it's not going to get...
We can only hope they'll save us. Are you going to answer the question, though? Because you're not answering the question. The question, once again, I asked you, what are the issues in Medicaid? You said it's the fact that not all providers accept Medicaid. Then I asked you, what is Donald Trump doing to fix this? And then you said, well, he's cutting it by $900 billion. So once again, I'm going to ask you for one last time, how is Donald Trump cutting Medicaid by $900 billion over the course of the next 10 years, fixing the issue that not all providers accept Medicaid as a valid form of payment?
It's not going to fix the issue. The issue itself is the Medicaid.
Okay, if that's not going to fix the issue, then why did you tell me it would?
Because Medicaid's the issue, not that Donald Trump's cutting the funding towards.
Oh, okay. So the way that we fix the issues within Medicaid is just getting rid of it as a whole?
Yes, and maybe we need a new thing.
So we need to replace Medicaid with a new thing. So what is Donald Trump replacing it with? We know that he's getting rid of it for 10 million low-income Americans. We know that he's increasing
He's not getting rid of it. He's cutting the funding down right now, currently.
Which according to the Center of Budget and Policy Priorities, which once again is read by Republicans, is what is directly leading to 10 million low-income Americans losing access to service over the course of the next 10 years. So once again...
10 million Americans losing access to bad, low-quality care.
So what are they going to be left with? And also, Medicaid actually isn't that bad in all scenarios. But my question to you is, what are they going to be left with? The answer to that question is nothing. You said that we need to fix and replace it. Donald Trump isn't replacing it with anything. Okay, he has been in office for 5 years at this point, and he's been contemplating his policies for office for over 10 years at this point. And this whole time, he's been saying that we need to repeal and replace Obamacare. We need to repeal and replace the ACA. Medicaid has all these problems, but guess what? The real problem is taking these services away from people that need them to live, leaving them with nothing and replacing them with nothing. Okay, if you want to replace Medicaid with something better, be my goddamn guest. All right. So many low-income Americans can voice so many frustrations with the system, but guess what? That system still provides them with the only healthcare they have access to in order to fund their visits to the hospital, in order to fund their annual physicals, and in order to extend their lifespan by 5 to 15 years on average per low-income American. And what are they going to have if they don't have it? Nothing.
So, buddy, look at Canada. Look how their healthcare is. It is absolutely trash. Okay, you go into any kind of hospital anywhere, you're there for maybe a full day, just even if you got a little cut or something, bud. How good is Canada's healthcare system doing? And they haven't changed it in how long? How long have they had it like that? And I can say this because I guarantee you're gonna kick me off. I'm Canadian, bud.
Yeah, like what an idiot. So let's use that transition to what is he doing? He's changing the culture is really what we need. We're making America healthy again. You know, we're not just relying on going to the doctor as, you know, the end all be all for health. It's you are what you eat. It's let's look at other aspects of our culture and health and the cesspool that we're living in you know, just the unfortunate world of just everything of new and unfortunate, you know, dumping from big companies, things like that, and just biohazards, just changing the culture of let's make America healthy again, which I think is a great thing.
Okay, so if you are what you eat, right, and now 42 million low-income Americans are losing access to any and all SNAP benefits starting November 1st because of Donald Trump's government shutdown, meaning they'll have less to eat. What does that mean for them?
It means that they will not use their money on their nails and their hair and their phone bill, and they'll use it on food instead.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So they don't actually need the food stamps to eat. Exactly.
I mean, dude, let's think about it.
110%. So if they didn't actually need the food stamps to eat, then explain to me why when we implemented this system into America, right, it is the case that it gave low-income Americans more economic mobility to be able to scale and grow their income from existing as a low-income American to median or middle-income earner. Explain to me why when we see the implementation of these systems on the global stage, such as in Nordic countries, right, the more social safety nets a country has, the more economic mobility their systems have. And explain to me why, right, this point's going to be important, why the average SNAP recipient, also explain to me why the average SNAP recipient only stays on benefits for 12 months or less, and why we have studies from various independent agencies that demonstrate that when an individual is allowed to gain access to SNAP benefits, their health outcomes improve.
Okay, 12 months or less. That's great. That shows that it's working as it should be. You know, they're getting help as it needs to, as they need to, and then in those 12 months, they're finding gainful employment and are able to support themselves.
And now November 1st,
that's a great thing.
Now November 1st, SNAP is going to be left with no funding because of Trump's government shutdown. 2 minutes ago, you were all about changing the culture. 2 minutes ago, you were all about changing the culture. 2 minutes ago, you were all about ensuring that everybody had proper food to eat on their dinner plate. 2 minutes ago, you were saying you are what you eat, and Donald Trump is making this country better by making people eat healthier. But now that you know the fact, right, that 42 million Americans, right, such a significant portion of our population, is going to be losing access to their SNAP benefits that keep them alive, that keep dinner on the table every night, that feed them and their children, all of a sudden, right, well, they're just shitty low-income Americans, super lazy, and now they'll finally be forced to stop spending their money on nails, and they'll be forced to spend it on food, right? You went from like caring about the people wanting to improve health outcomes to espousing the same bullshit, like anti-intellectual, evil rhetoric that we've heard about low-income Americans in this country for way too long from your side of the aisle. Not to mention, building off of that fact, if you are what you eat, and individuals are now going to be eating less or eating less expensive food because Donald Trump is reducing the purchasing power of over half of this country through the big beautiful bill, according to
Then
the Senate
call
Budget
your
and
senator,
priorities.
Dean, and tell
well,
him
then
to
it seems
vote it
like
through.
that half of our country is going to be worse off, right?
Dean,
Well,
call
why-
your
it's not-
senator and
hold
tell
on.
him to vote it through. Come on. You know that this is Democratic filibuster.
One second.
But
let me
also,
talk
it's
out
not,
JFD.
that's not our. It's not the taxpayers' responsibility to feed these other people, Dean. Like I said, Yeah, I don't want one person in the world to go hungry. My church is open. Our soup kitchen is open. We have food drives, and I'm sure all the other churches across America are open.
So let me get this straight. It's not the taxpayers' responsibility to ensure that children, men and women, right, in low-income brackets, right, are healthy. But it is the taxpayers' responsibility to spend $4.5 trillion on a bill that disproportionately helps the ultra-wealthy. It is the taxpayers' responsibility to give $40 billion to Argentina to help bail them out when they're experiencing economic instability. And it is the taxpayers' responsibility to apparently now give Trump $230 million straight from our pockets because of the emotional distress he felt when the DOJ was investigating him over the last 4 years. Do you sound how stupid? Do you hear how stupid you sound?
No, not at all, actually. Because it's the Democrat shutdown. The Republicans did not want to shut down the government. So yeah, the SNAP benefits. Yeah, really sad. So like you said, call your local senator.
Who controls the White House?
The media stint is over. It's
controls
done.
the
They
White
lost.
House?
It's the Republican shutdown. They won the narrative last shutdown with Trump. They lost it this time.
Who controls the White House?
Donald J. Trump.
Who controls the Senate?
Republicans.
Who controls the House?
Republicans.
Who controls the Supreme Court?
Republicans.
And yet you're still trying to blame it on the Democrats. Get real.
I'm pretty real, man. I'm pretty real. And just going back to SNAP,
Right.
nobody
Going back to
in the
something
wo-
else, of course.
I mean, all right, or move on. What's your next topic? Whatever you want, Dean.
We're all ready to.
Sorry if I'm making you anxious.
No, you're
It's not
making
good
me
for you.
anxious,
Stop
my friend.
vaping.
Well, it's also not good for you to be supporting an adjudicated rapist that has boasted about perving on kids while they're naked in their dressing rooms as president. I guess we all have our vices, right?
I think it is good because I'm a white man, and and there are people
What the fuck?
that
Wait, what are you saying? It's good for me to support a rapist because I'm a white guy? What?
It's good for me to support Trump because I'm white, because people saw Charlie Kirk be publicly executed, and real humans reacted the way you reacted, with emotion, with sadness.
Wait, 1 second. Don't talk about me. Don't talk about me. Talk about your comment. You said it's good for you to support Trump because you're a white man.
Yeah, and when you were upset that somebody was
1
publicly
second.
executed,
Stop talking about me. We're not talking about me. We're talking about your comment. What do you mean when you say it's good for you to support Trump because you're a white man? What does that mean?
are you going to mute me again?
If you talk about me again, yes, I want you to answer directly my question. What did you mean when you said it's good for you to support Trump because you're a white man?
Because I saw a white man with conservative values who is more left-leaning than me be publicly executed, and people cheered for it. And even if you didn't cheer for it and you were upset about it, as a white man, they said, even though this guy Dean, who comes on and advocates for our policies and says all this and that, he's still a white man.
I have a question. Who killed Charlie Kirk? A white man.
Yes. Oh, is he a man or is he transgender? Don't misgender him, Dean. You'll lose some audience if you misgender him.
His shooter was a cis white man, just like you, just like me.
Okay.
Like what
And
the
then
wait,
there was-
I'm so sorry. Like what kind of fucking argument are you trying to construct now? I feel like you were just trying to make this argument that the white men, the only people capable of feeling empathy for the public execution of somebody else. First and foremost, a person that publicly executed him was a white man. Second of all, Charlie Kirk, who's a white man, has gone on his live before and said that Biden should be executed for his treason against America and that we should bring back public executions in the public. Not to mention the white man that you support as president is guilty of 34
Wasn't it
felonies,
weird,
raping a
though,
woman,
that,
boasting
were
about
mad.
perving on children. Not to mention the other white men that all throughout history that have done pretty bad things. I mean, most notably Hitler as one. Mussolini is too, but I mean, we don't even need to go there. I'm just still not sure that I understand quite what you mean.
I think what
when you
he's
say,
trying to explain.
I support Trump because I'm a white man.
Yes, I think what he's trying to explain is that white men have been discriminated in this country under Biden's policies with DEI and everything and diversity of hiring. And not a lot of white men recently have been able to get hired due to their race.
And also just everybody.
Oh my God! Yeah, you're giving me a good laugh. Listen, go ahead and tell me specifically what Biden policy discriminated white men.
So just for example,
DEI.
the 19
DEI
the
is a
19
word. I'm asking for a very specific policy. In response to you, Sean, you said Biden's policy, right, made it so white men were discriminated in this country. Very specifically, what policy did... Oh, you're giving me a good laugh. Very specifically, what policy did Biden pass? Specifically, that caused there to be discrimination against white men in this country.
It was obviously supported by him. And the Democratic
what
Party.
specifically was supported by him that discriminated against white men? Because now you've shifted the goalposts. Because the original claim was that he passed policy that caused there to be discrimination against white men. But now you're saying he just supported things that caused there to be discrimination against white men. So, Sean, I will ask again, what did Biden support that blatantly was anti-white man discrimination?
DEI.
And what's DEI, Sean?
Diversity, equity, and inclusion.
And how does DEIA or DEI discriminate against white men?
I think it's because it's making people hire people who are different races, not based off how good they do and how good of a job they work, and it's making job hiring all based on race.
Okay, well,
and I think removing that makes it not based on race, and it just makes it based on how good the job gets done. I think that was a great thing Trump did.
You have a fundamental misunderstanding of what DEI is. It's not something, right, that discards merit for a preference of race. It's actually something that discards a preference of race or gender for protection of merit by protecting against discriminatory hiring processes in which have disproportionately disadvantaged BIPOC individuals and women. Okay, that's the fact. You have it backwards. And now you're saying that Donald Trump has done something to fix this. We'll talk about that in a second. But I actually just want to ask the guest below you here something real quick. JRD, would I be right to assume that you agree with everything that Sean here is saying?
Yes.
Okay, and you said that you're pretty far right. Do you uphold traditionalism? You think the man should go out and work, the woman should stay at home, raise the kids, cook, clean, etc.?
Yes.
Okay. Well, guess what? You're actually now contradicting yourself because you just told me that we should be able to dictate what individuals do based upon their gender.
Oh my God.
Come on, bro. Really? Fucking really? You just told me that you think it's so bad. We need to have a merit-based economy. We shouldn't have an economy that gives preferential treatment and tells individuals what they should do based upon these immutable characteristics. But then in the same breath, you say that individuals should be doing these particular tasks based upon the immutable characteristic of what's in between their legs or what their gender is. Come on, bro. Get real. You're all over the place. Goddamn contradictory buffoon.
Okay, anyway, back to DEI.
Not back to that. Respond to what I just said. Okay, the only true application of what you and Sean up here described as DEI, which is like moving away from a merit-based economy to an economy that props individuals up, tells them what to do, predicated on their race or gender. Right. The only true example of that is traditionalism, in the sense where we're going to say, regardless of what your merit and or qualifications are, if you're a man, you need to do these things, and if you're a woman, you need to do those things. Is that not a very true example?
Conservative values.
Is that not a true example, right, of what you are describing as DEI?
No, not at all. It is.
So?
It is just conforming into roles as we were intended to be, rather than
conforming into roles predicated on your merit or predicated on your gender.
Predicated on life.
Oh.
And marriage and reproduction.
So is it merit or gender?
You're losing me a little. You're like this whatever gotcha you're trying to get. I think
it's just a fair question, sir. You said that men should go out and they should work. Women should stay at home, cook, clean, raise the kids.
Generally, yeah, okay. Sure.
So is that a predicate? Is that predicated, right, on their merit or on their gender, on their abilities to perform at these tasks, or what's in between their legs?
It is, yeah, it's on their gender, absolutely.
Okay.
And more often than not, the man's ability is superior to the women's in most areas.
Really? So then why are men better at leading than women?
So anyway, back to Biden DEI.
No, I just have a question real quick. Why do you think men are better at leading than women? Let's hear it.
Because I've never heard a man say I'm overstimulated. Just a quick one sentence answer. But anyways,
I need my Starbucks.
So your argument here is not back to anything, because now I'm going to respond to that. So I don't know. Is the implication here is that you think that like men perform better under stress?
Sure.
Okay. Well, biology proves you wrong. Women have thicker dendrites. Spines. One second.
Nice little thing.
Oh, muted. So biology proves you wrong. Women have thicker spines on the dendrites in their neuroanatomy.
Than you. Definitely better than you. You little weak. Great self-tell. Great self-report.
Hey.
Much thicker spine than you, Dean.
Hey, JID, are you crashing out? Listen,
I'm not. I'm peaking. I probably laughed less loud than you laughed earlier.
What I'm going to ask you to do,
I think we're both having a great time.
Is just so you could calm down. What I want you to do is go ask for your mom and to give you a better haircut, so you just have something to focus on, right? Like while we're debating here. But that
why not? That's actually
hold on.
But that haircut's pretty nasty. Right,
actually
but anyways, I'm going to go ahead and just respond.
Just a quick question, Dean.
One second. No,
Dad?
I'm going to respond to what JOD said there. So once again, you think that men are better at dealing with stress under pressure than women. Biology proves you wrong. Women have thicker spines on their dendrites in their neuroanatomy. And why? Why might I add? It's because evolution gave them thicker spines on their dendrites in the context of their neuroanatomy to better deal with, manage, and process stress compared to men, because women can give birth. Okay, there is academic peer-reviewed studies literally from the 70s until now that have perpetually demonstrated that biologically speaking, women are predisposed to be able to deal with and manage stress better than men, not because they have to give birth, but literally because they possess the capability to do so. And we see this biological fact underpinned in many empirical data points in society at large that prove it to be the case. Like, for instance, the American Medical Association did a huge study on 1.4 million patients worldwide operated on by female and male surgeons alike. What they discovered is that if you're operated on by a female compared to a male, you're less likely to die as a result of your surgery, and you're less likely to experience negative postoperative outcomes. Why? Because they're better at dealing with the pressure of surgery. We also see this evidently clear through the fact that men are significantly more likely to engage in emotionally driven thought processes instead of rational ones, such as women, right? This is why men commit 92% of violent crimes. This is why men are significantly more likely to self-unalive than women. This is why men account for 85% of the hard DRUG abuse as an unhealthy coping mechanism to deal with unprocessed emotions, right? And why women are significantly more likely to go to therapy for their unprocessed emotions. This is also why men are more likely to recklessly drive. This is why men are more likely to drunk drive. And this is why women have
you're
higher
reading from
EQ on average.
ChatGPT.
Reading from ChatGPT. Well, I'll make sure to go ahead and continue this with my eyes closed. And it's why women outperform men in the context of school at all grade levels, even excelling in the context of higher levels of education, getting better grades, and getting more degrees.
These whatevers,
right? And just to continue on from there, women also have a higher EQ on average.
Lives in the world.
And I'm actually talking about the world. These are all empirical facts. I could keep on going, but it looks like the little baby wants to interject, so take it away.
Little baby, that's hilarious. Testosterone is literally foreign to your body. Yeah, every man here lives in the world and knows you just like regurgitated the same things on, your little Nick Fuentes debate that we've all heard 1,000 times. Like, we all live in the world and just know whatever you said.
What are your test levels?
Like, my test levels?
Yeah, you're talking about like test levels. You said it was foreign to my body. What are your test levels?
That's information I'll keep to myself.
No. I mean, you want to talk about my test levels so you could dish it, but you can't take it? Oh, that's really weak of you, man. What are your test levels? Serious.
Dude, they're through the roof, man. They're through the roof.
So like, if you had to be like more specific, what do you think they would be? Like specifically.
Dude, I'll send. I have them. I'll send them.
So like, what are they? Like more specifically, like what do you think your test levels are?
Okay, so anyway.
No. Like, seriously. Oh wait, what do you even know what test levels are like measured in?
Dude, Yes.
Education and worldly knowledge is foreign to your body. If you're gonna try to make like a sick burn, saying like, "Oh, Dean, you don't have any testosterone," you at least got to know the basics. It's measured in nanograms per deciliter. The average level of testosterone that a male has is around 500 to 600 nanograms per deciliter.
We're gonna read from the page.
Yeah. Here we go again. Go ahead, Dean. Go ahead. We're all ready for story time.
No, I know it's funny. You guys are like acting like the Wicked Witch of the West, and like the in the fucking in that one movie with the Tin Man and the red shoes, Wizard of Oz, right? When she gets water thrown on her. When I'm just like speaking facts. Like here I am just sharing worldly knowledge, informing you of facts of reality, and then you're like, oh, here we go again. Dean's educating us. Holy fucking shit! Is this what it feels like to be a 4th grade teacher? Seriously. But anyways, go ahead and give a rebuttal to all the evidence that I gave you, both biologically and socially, that demonstrates that women are not more likely to engage in emotionally driven thought processes and do deal with and manage stress better than men. Because the fact of the matter is, you made a claim. You said that they were worse under pressure and stress. You said that they're more likely to think emotionally. I gave you evidence to prove you wrong, and then your response was to complain and whine, which is really funny because that is an example of the emotional thought processes of the man. So in fact, I know I gave you 2 arguments to prove you wrong: the biological underpinning of what would predispose women to be better with dealing with stress, evolutionarily speaking, all of the empirical data points where that point is exuberated. But my third counter argument is literally you. Because if instead of responding to me with a logical, cohesive following argument to demonstrate that what I said was incorrect, you instead started fucking whining like an emotional man toddler. So thank you for being the own objection to your own position. Are you feeling overstimulated?
No, not even a little bit. Not even a little bit.
Yeah, I did just look something up while you were reading that though, and it says that a 2018 study found that men on average exhibit stronger cortisol response to acute stress.
Did you hear that?
Which can enhance focus and quick decision making in high pressure scenarios.
The empirical data has proven unequivocally that studies since 1960 show that this piece of paper says, like, dude, I'm married. I have a wife. Like, I have a mom. I have sisters. Like, they don't.
So Cody,
they don't perform
so you said
well
that
under.
So you said that like they exhibit like stronger like cortisol responses.
Yeah, let me see if I can tell you.
Did you know that
stress response and decision making in neuroscience?
Did you know that cortisol is the stress emotion? You didn't know that because you've never done this research a day in your life. So you just proved your own point wrong.
Recovery from
you just proved your own fucking point wrong. You just said that they exhibit more cortisol, stronger cortisol responses, more of this stress hormone. God damn. Unreal, Cody.